Hello, hi, it's me again. Let's continue with my legacy videos. Yeah, for um, you know, as a heritage for my kids, for my grandchildren, actually, for my grandchildren. So yes, I was talking about my 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 childhood. Lots of challenges. I faced lots of challenges from the day I was born to listen to my father's, comments when I was born, because you think that children don't understand what's going on, but you do. So yes, so all this, you know, all these moments was very interesting, to say the least. So yes, it was lots of challenges because I was born in a very poor condition. Yeah, poor country, poor city, poor family. My family came from the country, from the countryside, they were farmers. My grand yeah, my both grandfathers were farmers. My grandfather from my father's side, he owns the farm, but he was very strong, a strong personality. So my father had a lot of problems with him, serious problems. So my father has to fled from his city to and moved to Annapolis, where I was born. And he was about 20 something when he did it. And my father was very, very clever. So he helps to repair an airplane that was landed in the city he was living in the middle of my state, very poor city. For you to have an idea, the biggest city around there was about 3 or 4 roads. So he was born in that place because it was a farmer area, big farmer area in the middle of the state. uh, so on those days, you can imagine just big rivers, etc. So this airplane is small airplane, very small, just like for 6 people at maximum. So this airplane landed there by because they were with problems, so they have to land their emergency landing. So the airplane was broken, something was broken the airplane. So my father was, very curious, and he had this very clever way of engineering stuff. So my father offered to repair the piece that was broken. So he did it with using wood. So and they managed to make the airplane function. So they asked him if he had the courage to fly with them to the about it in those days was about 2 hours flying. So he said, yeah, he did. He was confident that the piece he managed will be working. So he jumped on the airplane with them, and that's the way he fled from his father and went to the city where my mom was living. My mom had moved to that city very in the early days also. So they moved to the city more or less at the same time. My mom was very strong lady, a very strong lady, and even being born in a time that woman was not very allowed to work out, etc. But she was working already in a shop. So yeah, she was brave enough to define the institution and say, no, I want to work, and she was working. So Yes, they were like this. But my father was working already in the airport when he met my mom. He was already working there because when he came to the Annapolis with these people from in the airplane, they offered him a place working in the airport. So he accepted, and then his life changed for forever. So yes, so they met there and they married, and I was the firstborn. So it was very interesting story. So they were, even his father was very very rich and own a farm, etc. He was not, because he was not in the, in the heart of his father. They were not in good terms. So he just came and he stayed there, and he want to forget everything about the place he was born. So yes. And my grandfather from my mom's side, he was a carpenter. So he was, my grip, my first bed was made by him. So yes, he was always doing something for the family, and all the tables and chairs, everything was made by him. So that's the environment I was born. So, and you had a very nice, as I said before, very nice childhood. You went all the farms around and picking fruits on the field, etc. So, uh, my uncles were, two of them were people that collect the milk from the farms to give to the people in the city. So they went to the farms in the morning, and then go each in the streets, and they had their own customers. So they come and beep beep beep, and the people came with the container to pick up the milk, and they pour the milk in, pure milk from the cow. Yeah, that's the way, I was looking at it. They had a chart, and the horses that push the charts, etc. So they were like this. Yes, it was very interesting childhood. So farms were our playground. We always go with them in the morning to collect the milk on the farms, you know. And yeah, that's what my childhood was. Very interesting, very nice. Um, but then they had that other side of me that was reading beautiful stories, from palaces, and from the country, and England and Scotland, and things like this was in my heart, and I didn't know where Scotland was, or where England was, but I was I had that dream. I had that side of me, this fantasy, that to be a princess, and yes. So the description of the country here in Scotland, for example, when they describe the moors, and the fields, and with the daisies, etc. So my passion for daisies came from the for reading it. So I had passion for daisies. In Brazil, it's not natural. They brought there the Portuguese people brought from Europe to Brazil. So you had big daisies in there. I didn't know the little daisies, that you have got here in England. I didn't know about. I didn't knew that they have all types and all sizes, all colors. I didn't know about it. The only one that in Brazil is the bigger ones. So yes, it was a surprise for me to see these little daisies on the between the grass. Beautiful. I love to take photos of them in the summertime, the spring. Yeah, it's very nice. So yes, so I had this. It was very hard for me to live these two lives, because it was a double life. I had my reality and my dream. So during the day, I was in my reality, but when the night was coming down, it was my time from the second life. That was living in here. And probably that's why make me, later on make the move. Even even it was not conscious. I just realized it after. It was not conscious. It was not a conscious choice that I made to move to England, to move to my roots. Because afterwards I did my DNA, and I have 1.5% of UK England English DNA on my blood. So yes, it was in my DNA. So yes, but I have Germany also. I have Italian, I have Spaniard, I have Portuguese, I have Africans, I have Indians from North America, from South America. So yes, I am a mix of everything. So yes, so when I went to that school, that boarding school in the south of Brazil, and I was reading a lot also, and been challenging the teachers and be expelled from there because I was challenging the knowledge, I was challenging the rules, I was challenging everything because I was rebellion. Always rebelling, always rebelling against the institution and the rules, and challenging everything, having knowledge. So yes, when I was it was, and then when I was expelled from there, I started a very, very um, difficult time in my life, because I was not adapting myself anymore in this small city where I was living in Annapolis. I want big things. I was going to school and studying, finishing my grades, but I was not happy. I was, inside my heart, it was very difficult for me. I, I had my first crush when I was in Cianorte in Paraná. I fall in love in there, and I was rejected in there with this love. So it was like a platonic love, because he didn't even knew that I was in love with him. He was my teacher, and then when I come back to my city, when I was expelled, and I tried to go to another one, and someone, wrote a letter saying that I was dangerous, that if I went to that school, I would be, making everyone rebellion also. So, oh my God, I was just 17 to 18, so I didn't knew nothing about real life, you know what I mean? But I was they took me as a black sheet. So yes, so I was not accepted in that one. It was very disappointed for me, and then I decided to change my story. Then it started real Miriam coming out, you know what I mean? A real rebellion one. So if they don't allow me to be the way I want it, so I'm gonna be a real pain in the arse. So that's when I decided I wanna go to Brasilia and start a new life in there. And I told my family, and my father was so upset. He was very upset. He was very old school. He said that I was spitting on his face, that I was doing, terrible, terrible. Because I want to have a different life. I want to make my dreams come true. So, yes, I told him, yeah, but I'm not going to stay. I want big stuff. I want big things. So I'm going to go. If you don't, I'm going to go. So he decided to go with me. So he decided to move to Brasilia with me. So then we moved to Brasilia. And then it's another story that I'm gonna tell you next. My Brazilian time. Moving to the capital of Brazil was a big step. A big step. Yes. It was something. And because we had our own house. It was a big house, 3 bedrooms, one living room, one diner room, kitchen, front garden, back garden. You know that big city, that big uh, house that was born. Even if it was dropping water in the rain time, but it was our house. To be in a rented place, a small place, you know, very small, just 2 bedrooms, one living room and one kitchen, and no front garden, no back garden, no air in the back, no air in the front. So it was very basic and in a very poor place, poorer than where I was living before in Annapolis. So it was another challenge, a big one. It's gonna be very interesting, the next chapter of my legacy. So, Brasilia will be next one. Okay, I'm gonna finish here. And yes, Vovo story. A nice, beautiful childhood, very difficult teenager time. Yes, but Vovó manage at the end. Okay? Okay. Bye bye, love. Bye bye.